Heavy metal.
Heavy metal portion.
All right, so I'm Zach Belizzi,
I'm
and we're missing some people, but they're safe. So yes, our product is called Natural Light, and it is a solar lighting solution. And here's our quick outline. We're going to have a product description and science background, TAM analysis, profit analysis, some pricing information, some competitive analysis, market analysis, and a rollout plan. All right, so currently to light a home, some current methods are CFLs. They're the new green method to light your house. Also skylights, and solar panels are useful for generating energy. And some problems with the current methods: they're inefficient, solar panels are expensive, and some solutions don't distribute natural light inside homes. And let's see. So our solution is a system that you install on your roof that it includes a large Fresnel lens. Let's see. This is mounted on your roof, that part. There's a large Fresnel lens that will focus sunlight into a fiber optic cable, which will then be routed through the house into an interior space that may not have windows. And then it'll light it with quality natural light with a very high efficiency. Okay, so quick TAM analysis. Our product is focused on households with an income of over $75,000. We figured people with less income than that wouldn't have the money to spend on our product. And this is 27% of America, or 30.5 million households. And there's kind of two separate consumer install phases. There's new homes that are being built, which our system would be installed in the new home. And then there's also existing homes that either people could install our system in, and every certain number of years our system would need replaced because it would wear out, like the roof part. So for new home installs, there are 1 million houses built every year, and 50% of new homes are sold at over $225,000. So we figured this would be the likely houses our system would go in, and given a full system install cost of $12,500, that's a possible market of $6 billion per year. Also for home replacements, we said that our system will be replaced every 25 years, which is how often a roof is replaced. So you'll replace them together, which would be useful because you will already have people on the roof. So 31 million households, over 75,000 a year. That's 1.2 million households with a replacement every year for a possible market of $8 billion a year. Of course, this is if all of these households already had a system installed and needed it replaced every 25 years, which does not exist yet, obviously. And also the potential to have installation each year into existing homes. We looked at another possible market sector, which would be schools. Installing our system into schools would be very useful because natural lighting has been proven to increase productivity, health, happiness, all that kind of stuff. We'll talk about that later. So 2,000 new schools are built every year, and system install of $200,000 for a school, possible market of $400 million, which is less, of course, than consumer, but it would also be more visible and possibly have more value, which we'll also talk about later. And then replacement of up to $1 billion a year. And we also are looking at the commercial market, although it's hard to get a solid number on that because our system would be custom built into an office building or a retail store.
Alright, so we're going to talk about competitors now. The major competitors we have right now directly are skylights and parent solar systems, but indirectly we also have CFLs and solar panels. So right now solar panels are extremely expensive, but green-oriented people would like to purchase them because one, it's environmentally beneficial, and two, they save some of their electricity bills. But also another downside is that it does not provide natural lighting inside the house. And something similar to our product is skylights. While these might seem simple, they're impractical to be implemented into rooms in your house which don't have exposure to outside world, you practically have to have a hole drilled through your floor. CFLs these days are very common in most houses because they've been proven to be more efficient than incandescent bulbs, but still they're very inefficient. And the efficiency rating is about 10% in comparison to our 80%. It produces also non-natural light, which is not fire truck good for.
CFLs are not 10%, they're more like 70. Just throwing that out. When you combine them with solar panels have an efficiency of about 14%. So you combine the two together using solar panels to create electricity and CFLs to make light, you have a net efficiency of about 10% compared to our 80%.
And then parents, this is one industry one company we were looking into. It's in fact very similar to our system after we found our idea. So basically the idea is that they have around 62 Fresnel lenses that are implemented on the roof of the building. But the problem with this is that it's very expensive. And when, another problem is that it's not aesthetically pleasing to consumers, which decreases the value of the house. And another problem is that when light is diffracted into the room, you have huge pieces of glass on the top of your room. And then this is our competitive matrix in comparison to others. Our product is like above average for pricing in comparison to others, but CFLs obviously win because there's not that much advanced technology implemented. The quality of our light obviously is better than CFLs because it's natural light. And our product also has the highest efficiency. The parents, while it may seem efficient at first, it has a 95.6 efficiency rating for each meter of transmission. But when you go down to the average length of transmission, that will be reduced to 64%. And solar power, it's the solar power generator. We have an alternative option where it generates solar power while it's not needing natural light, and so it's producing some of its own power, which results in zero reliance on electric companies for lighting.
Yeah, I kind of forgot to mention that. It's kind of a major point. But when you're not using a light in your house, our system will instead put a solar panel under the fiber cable. So we'll be making a large amount of electrical energy equal to having solar panels on the same surface area as our collectors. So we are able to generate not as much solar as dedicated solar panels, not as much electricity, but we will generate a large amount of solar when the lights are not being used in a house, which is a major benefit of our product compared to our competitors, because like you can see, many of them do not provide any electrical power.
And for our cost, our thing would cost around $12,500 for a whole installation. In comparison, solar systems are like a little bit higher because they have to incorporate more heating valves and pipes, and also skylights and windows would be impractical to compare with our product because it would require much unaesthetic changes and impractical changes as well. Parents' product is also much more expensive and could cost up to $8,000 more. Why we're better? Solar panels, obviously, as we said before, are much less efficient in comparison to ours. So with this, we're getting more yield of lighting per, say, square meter. And also, natural light has, as we've talked about, has been proven to be psychologically and economically environmentally beneficial. These are some statistics about natural lighting. Would you like to talk about?
This is some stuff we found at this website here. In some cases, adding natural light to a home caused energy costs to decrease by as much as 75%. Some health benefits: people are more productive, happier, healthier, and calmer. Also, natural light helps regulate disorders including SAD. Vitamin D is produced from having actual sunlight. You don't get it from normal indoor lighting, which our system will give you. And a lot of people in America are short on vitamin D and have health, your health is better if you have more vitamin D. So our system will help with generating vitamin D in the body. And also natural lighting reduces eye strain, makes it easier for people to see.
And these are some of the strengths and weaknesses we have. Right now, our integrated system, it provides better health, and also over 30 years, like for example, you'll be profiting from this product because you wouldn't be having to pay for the electricity bill for your lighting to your company. But one of our weaknesses is that in comparison to CFLs, which are widely available in the market, it's much more expensive. So it would be hard to introduce to the market for people who are price sensitive. And also, there's only one product right now, which is a disadvantage in comparison to others where people can get their specific need.
Alright, here's a market segment analysis. And so we're looking at installing our system in both new homes, which would be construction, existing homes, which would be a renovation, schools, office buildings, and retail stores. So we can see that new home construction is our greatest possible potential. It's a large value, a very large market. A lot of people will see new homes, and it's a moderately easy sale because we can go to one company that builds thousands of homes a year and get them on our product, and they'll be building thousands of them. You can see, I mean, obviously, schools, there's an extremely high value, but there's a smaller market, and government is a lot harder to sell to than a consumer.
All right, so what our plan was to first introduce it into consumer and construction market, because when we introduce it to the construction market, they'll be more likely to introduce our product because one, it would raise the house value, which they're interested in, and second of all, consumers who are more green oriented would more prefer to buy this product because one, they're saving the environment, and two, it's natural lighting as well. And then if this is not as successful as we would like it to be, our next phase would be school and business market. This is because there's a high endorsement value as well as high value for the consumers themselves.
All right, our initial rollout plan is to contact construction companies and demo them our product. And they would include our product in like the show home, you know, like the homes they have at the front of a new neighborhood. If they would put our system in a show home, then people would look at this house with all this nice natural light streaming in, and it would be provided as an option to them for the building of their new house at a somewhat added cost. And it would greatly increase the value of homes that the builder is building. So the builder would like to do this. It would be good for the builder, a value add for their homes, and people would like seeing this. They would pay more for a house with this system. So we think we could get a lot of sales with talking to construction companies and getting it in show homes. So that's our initial rollout plan. Questions?
So I have two questions. So your product, it's replacing all light bulbs in the house with this